Hi,
Hi.
it's the Dead Air Horror Review podcast, and we're here,
We're a
and
little we're a little out of sorts just because of the
I
movie we're about to
that's
review.
that's a really good way to put it, man. Like we watched, today, today we're going to talk about Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey. And Chris, I'd like to start the show off by saying we're creative people, you know. Sometimes you might rattle off an idea to a friend. You're like, hey, what if we had a movie about a robot that was a surfer? And you'd come back to me and I go, oh yeah, that's pretty cool. What does he do? Well, he's a robot and he surfs. I think you need to come up with some more ideas than that, man. That's not like a whole, that's just like half of an idea. That's like not a whole story.
I don't know. I kind
And
of like that idea. It sounds like it could figure itself out.
honestly,
It
it's
right.
better. It's
It
a poor
honestly
example.
writes itself.
Honestly, me just trying to come up with a bad example came up with something more creative than this. Uh, so anyway, you're like, no, that's just the idea, and then you funded it and made it into a movie. That's what we watched. I'm gonna, I guess, and I literally did no research on this film after watching it or before. I'm gonna guess that Winnie the Pooh is one of those properties that's in the public domain now,
It is.
so anyone can make a fucking
Yep.
movie about it.
Yep.
Um, so
And that's
yeah,
probably, I assume that's why this
that
director slash
had
writer
to
went this
had to
direction.
had to be
Yeah.
right. Um, anyway, I don't even know where to start. Chris, you want to just give a brief over this movie will take half a second to explain.
Um, I do you think we should just let's just run the trailer? How
Sure.
about that? And then people can see
Yeah.
for themselves.
You know, you're the first person I ever shown this place to.
And why am I so special?
Because soon we'll be Christopher and Mary Robin.
You should be close now.
We're not going to find them.
We will. Pooh, Piglet, Eeyore, we were friends for many years, and they're out there.
Christopher, we need to leave. Now.
I really need to find out what's happened here, okay?
This place is kind of cool. And did you say it has a pool? We need to go.
Laura's dead. There's someone else outside. What was that?
We used to be friends. Why are you doing this, please? I would have never left, I swear, I swear.
Um, I can't overstate the level of uncreate. I've never seen so much uncreativity. Like
Yeah.
it's like they didn't do anything like that. There's nothing there. There is so much nothing here. Like I've never. I don't even know. Like it's hard to put into words. Like it's literally just Winnie the Pooh and Piglet went evil, and they're murderers, and that's the entire movie. There's no real like. There's a very brief rationale as to why they went crazy.
Very brief. If you blinked, you would miss it.
Right.
And still, it would make no sense.
It would make no sense. Then I thought for like a second that they were gonna like that they were at least gonna give me some kind of weird motivation, like Pooh turns the blood of people into honey, but that's like kind of hinted at, but like not really. Like their motivation is just their sadistic murderers, right?
Yeah.
Also, I don't know if you caught this, but like as the title cards go across the screen, there's like radio chatter and it's like don't go in the woods, and then there's like newspaper clippings like another dead body in the 100-acre woods. But like our cast of characters makes no reference to them understanding any of this. So it's like that was obviously like ADR'd and put in, or not really ADR'd, but that sequence was probably put in after they filmed the movie.
Yeah.
Like, weren't they like, well, isn't it weird that like we act like this is something that people know about, but then nobody in our movie knows about it? Because like the hitchhiker guy or the guy at the gas station doesn't know about it. Like none of his buddies know about it. None of the women know about it.
So let's start. So if you were able to make it through the trailer that we just played, if you weren't put off by that completely and you're still with us right now, so the reason for Pooh and the rest of it's really just Pooh and Piglet.
It's
like,
just Pooh and
ignore
Piglet.
everyone
Like
else.
where they said Eeyore died, but like where was the bunny? Wasn't there like a kangaroo?
Right.
Where's Tigger?
Tigger, what a great character that would have been as a
Tigger like
as a serial killer.
You know what though? I bet you. Well, maybe not. I don't know. I bet you Tigger might be tied up in rights. Like Disney might like. Does they still use Tigger in a lot of?
Or they're saving him for the sequel.
Yeah. Oh God. Well, I thought for sure. Wasn't there like a kangaroo that had like a little kid? Wasn't that like a thing? One of the characters had like a small child animal. Yeah. And I could have sworn that they were going to be like, well, the mom ate the baby or some weird bullshit. Yeah. But no, that's again, that's a step too creative for this film.
So the reason for Pooh and Piglet becoming these killers was because Christopher Robin, who you only see for maybe 10 minutes in the whole film.
He's in it for maybe like he's in it. The most hilarious scene in this whole movie is the introduction scene where like him and his fiance, who they explicitly point out is his fiance, like immediately. So I guess you feel bad when she gets slaughtered in 3 seconds.
Right.
But like he decides that he needs to go off to the 100-acre woods to prove to her that his talking anamorphic animal friends were real, which is like the most insane thing I've ever said. Also, the little animated intro to explain the origin of what happened. It says that Christopher Robin didn't leave the 100-acre woods till he was going to college.
Yeah.
Which is fucking insane.
You caught that too? I was like, he waited that long to leave the 100-acre wood?
This motherfucker was hanging out with like Pooh and Piglet till he was like fucking almost 18, 19 years old. Like that's kind of weird. Like that's a movie in of it. Like this guy would be so fucking like he wouldn't be like well adjusted at all. He'd be a fucking psycho.
No, he should be the serial killer, to be quite honest. Like,
yes, that's a better movie. One of the worst actors I've ever seen in my life.
He was terrible. They were all bad.
They're real bad. And no disrespect to these actors. Like, it's not like they were given the best material.
They were set up to fail.
Yeah, I mean Lawrence of Arabia or whatever his name is, Olivier. He would be doing pretty bad. You can clip that one. That was pretty good. I also in this scene, one of the most hilarious, and this is a motif through the rest of the film. But Christopher Robin's witnessing his wife literally getting choked till her eyeballs pop out, doesn't even attempt to try to stop Piglet from killing her. Besides screaming,
he screamed,
"No, Piglet, stop!
No, Piglet. Why?
Like she's dying, and like he's just like, no, stop! Why are you doing this?" And this is all he says in the whole movie.
Yeah,
like if you're doing like this, I'm sure we could come up with a good drinking game for this movie. But like every time Christopher Robin says "why" or "stop," take a shot, you will have liver like failure within like a good hour into this movie.
I was hoping they actually killed off his character. I found him pretty annoying, to be quite honest.
Well, we'll get to it, but like maybe they did. The movie just kind of ends. Like who knows?
Yeah. So let's step back for a second because the whole reason that they're pissed off at Christopher Robin is because he left to go to college.
Yeah, well, but also they described that the entire time he was going to the 100-acre woods, he was bringing them food.
Food, yeah.
And I imagine that it's the only, apparently from the movie, the way the movie describes it, it was the only food that these animals were getting. And also they described them as what was the word they used? It was like genetic freaks or abominations is the word that they used. It's because again they're not regular animals. They're like anamorphic animals.
Yeah.
So Christopher Robin's was literally their lifeline. Only but they existed before him. How did they get food? Anyways, so they ran out of food and they resorted to killing Eeyore and eating him. And then they went crazy.
This is a very unhealthy codependent relationship that existed between these parties.
I'm still just thinking about a fucking 18-year-old hanging out with Winnie the Pooh and like what? What?
His friends are like, "You gonna come out and hang with us tonight? We're gonna go drink." Like,
I mean, and he's like, you can tell the exact same story, and he leaves when he's like 50. 10 years old or something. That makes a lot more sense that he stuck it out through his teen year. It's so weird. Like, when I was a teenager, I didn't want anything to do with Winnie the Pooh, and it was just a movie. Like, I can't imagine. So the movie transitions from Christopher Robin's and his fiance getting murdered to then we get basically our main cast, which is just a bunch of random women characters, and none of them have any character. They're just there, and they now this may come as a shock to the people that know me because I am a huge pervert, but like the level of like ridiculous like nudity and like almost nudity in this movie is so dumb and bad, and like the one I believe it's the first girl that gets murdered. Well, Pooh is about to throw in a wood chipper, but I guess they couldn't figure out how to get that effect done, so he just bashes her head into the side of the wood chipper and then throws her in. But like before he could do all that, he tears her shirt off because that was necessary. And it's like, what? Again, don't get me wrong. I know that TNA is part of like crappy horror, but like it's so bad and it's so like what? Like it's terrible. One of the girls, I guess, is an influencer, I guess, and there's just a scene of her just like dancing on her bed taking selfies, and that scene goes on for like 5 minutes, and it's like there's no dialogue or then that same girl, I believe, is the one that's murdered in the hot tub where they just like frame her, or excuse me, she's run over by a car.
Her
but
head
they like
is just
it's like her boobs like center panel. And again, I'm a pervert. I love that stuff. But like even I'm like taken aback. I'm like, all right, like this is all you got. Like you don't have any plot, so you just
Now, was there anything? No, I'm not even going to ask you if there was anything worth enjoying in this movie. Or any positive takeaways. I'm going to ask, I'm curious because it's I mean, you can't avoid it. It's directly behind you. What did you think about
the mask?
Well, sorry, they're not masks. They're actual faces.
They're I thought characters. They were. So here's the thing, and I'm glad you asked because I couldn't get this out of my head through the whole movie. If this movie was about guys that were dressing up as these characters, it's kind of cool. Like it's a good mask, but it doesn't
be scary as hell.
It does not work as this thing that's supposed to be a real living creature. Like, do you watch I Think You Should Leave? It's the Netflix show. You know the one with the chunky where it's like a game show? And there's that part where he's like, don't talk, the mouth doesn't move, it looks fake. Like I couldn't stop thinking about that because like they obviously it's a mask and it has no like articulation or anything in it, but there's points in the movie where they like, because also this movie is criminally, it uses this really cheap looking CGI and it's awful, like mostly in the gore effects, but like there's certain times where they try to get the Pooh mask to like emote and they CGI it, like they CGI its face like contorting, and it looks like that filter in like Photoshop, that like twirl filter, you know, and you like it's like pinch, you know what I'm talking about? That like it looks so bad.
His face directly behind you right now is how I looked when I got out of the dentist chair the other day after getting some dental work done. Like, you know, I couldn't move my mouth and it was just drool running down my face. I couldn't move. And that's exactly what this mask looks like. Like
it was terrible. And like, you know, I get it. Like some of the best slashers, they don't emote. That's kind of what makes them scary.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you know, like Leatherface and Michael Myers.
That's like a stylistic choice. This was just seemed like it was because like, they couldn't make it emote.
Those are guys in masks. This is supposed to be a creature, and it doesn't. It just looks plasticky and stupid. Like it was bad
with human hands at that.
Yeah, well, again, it's like they cheaped out, right? Like it's not. It just looks like a guy in a mask, and not even a particularly good mask. What I found hysterical was both of the poor actors in these fucking masks. You could tell they couldn't see any fucking thing. There's one scene where Piglet, also probably the scene I laughed the hardest, because I will say, I guess I'll save it till the very end of the show, but this is a terrible movie, but it is kind of fun to watch. Like it's awful, but like it's so bad, it's kind of fun bad, which I would probably guess that the filmmakers were trying to go for, or at least they're going to say that now. No, Piglet kills this woman that's in like the weirdest pool I've ever seen. A pool that's like 3 feet deep, and it's only about 2 foot wide. Like I don't know.
That's what rich people have, just to go
I guess
to do laps. A lap pool.
Yeah. Well, anyway, so first of all, this big killer is trying to kill this woman, and the woman decides to not, like, she stays in the pool, which doesn't make any sense. Like, get out of the pool, especially when Piglet gets in the pool. Get out of the pool and run. He's in the pool. He's a big, heavy guy. It's going to take him forever to get out of the pool. That part doesn't make any sense. But Piglet walks into the pool and just starts like swinging like his big hammer, and then she gets to the end of the pool and she figures, I guess she's like a character in The Sims, like she can't get out of the pool because there's no like ladder, and he just whacks her in the head. Yeah. But you could tell that whole scene, like he's doing that kind of like Axl Rose like serpentine walk because he can't see. It's fucking hilarious. There's another great.
Well, can I just stop you right there, because I will be the first to say I make many parenting mistakes. I've got 2 young children. I let them watch horror movies with me all the time.
Oh, you didn't let them watch this?
I let them watch some of this movie, and they watched the scene you were just talking about. I think it just, completely just, they're adults now. Their childhood is gone.
It's over. It's over. Well, are they familiar with Winnie the Pooh?
Oh, of course.
Yeah,
absolutely. 100%. So when they saw that scene in the pool, my youngest son, or my only son.
Who is your youngest? I mean, that is still a true statement.
He fits both categories, to be fair.
Yeah.
So he said, "You know what this movie reminds me of?" And he fucking nailed it. He's like, "You know that insurance commercial, the Geico commercial, where the people are running into the shed filled with like, knives and chainsaws?"
Yes.
He's like, "This feels like that insurance commercial." I'm like, "That's exactly what this movie is."
That is a daft fucking comparison right there. That's fantastic. Oh,
but
man.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's fine.
You were gonna say another death scene that you really hate.
Oh, no, there's a part towards the beginning before that girl 2 parts about this scene. So right before that girl gets bashed, her head gets bashed into the side of the wood chipper. There's a scene where she's supposed to be hiding from Winnie the Pooh, but like she's not even standing behind, she's not even crouched behind this object. They're literally just next to each other. And like, I don't know how they saw that and they're like, well, they're just standing next. She's not hiding. He's right there. Like, the perspective is like, they didn't shoot it right and the perspective is way off. That's hilarious. Yeah. But no, the other part of that scene is he does put her in the wood chipper, and for some reason, again, to clarify, her face is pudding. Like, it looks like the scene in Irreversible. Like, her face is gone. She is very dead. And when she gets put in the wood chipper, her legs are still flat. Like they're no, like she would be done. So maybe some sporadic like spasming, but why?
Yeah.
And it's also like the most comical, like exaggerated like leg motions. Like, oh my god.
But
like,
also, you know, if you've seen Fargo before, you know, like if you put somebody in the wood chipper, it takes less than a half a second.
oh yeah,
You know, for that body to go all the way through. Not
yeah.
that anything is supposed to be realistic about this movie, because it's not.
Well,
But
also, and then the CGI when
oh,
it's like this crappy like ground beef looking spray
yeah,
that comes out of the other end. It's like,
yeah,
sorry, what were you saying? The non-realism.
yeah. I mean, obviously it's not, but they when I was watching, I was like, this is kind of funny,
It
but
is
it's
fun.
not supposed to be funny. But if
I
they
don't
were
think so.
intending to be funny, maybe they could have gotten away with a comedy horror rather than trying to pull off.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel like I haven't. Again, I had did zero research after I watched this, but like, I wouldn't be surprised if like the filmmakers now, like, kind of the way like Tommy Wiseau acts like The Room was intentionally bad now.
Yeah,
Like, this guy's probably. Oh yeah, it's like people. I can see this becoming kind of a viral thing, and it almost seems like that's why you would make this in the first place. Like, it's such a weird, bad idea, and the movie sucks. Like, you're just getting it out there so people
to
will
get
talk
buzz.
about it. Like
Yeah,
we are. I mean, we're
yeah,
talking about it.
yeah.
Um,
Well, what is there anything that you think that could have been done to make this movie work? Because I actually like the concept itself, you know, taking something like a
I mean,
beloved children's story and making
yeah.
them serial
Well,
killers.
I mean, right off the bat, I wouldn't make I kind of like the idea, and this is just the kind of stuff I like in general. But like, if you gave this idea to me, first of all, no anamorphic characters. Like, I like the idea of Chris. So like, you take Christopher Robbins is like deranged, right? Like, he did stay in the 100 Acre Woods till he was 18, but like, it's like a metaphor for like trauma or something. Like, he was in an abusive home, and he did make up all these characters, and maybe in his mind when he went away, this is when they turned evil, and he goes back, and maybe they, like, again, this is still not a great idea, but like, maybe he feels like his abandonment of them killed them, and that like drives him insane, but he still sees like their visions and stuff, and that's why he kills people. Again, it's still not very good.
We could have
But
had another, like, you know, we just talked about high tension a
yeah.
couple weeks ago. We could add another high tension concept where he is actually the serial killer. Like, he's
Well,
imagining
yeah.
Pooh and Piglet.
Well, there's a movie I really like that is super underrated in my opinion called Possum.
Yeah.
And it's about this guy. It's a tough movie to explain, but basically the whole movie is like a metaphor for like child abuse, and it's very dark.
Yeah.
And possibly it's about it's definitely about the continuation of how child abuse is a cycle, and how it doesn't leave you. And the guy's basically like going insane through the whole movie. And it possibly, you can read it that he's continuing the abuse without, I don't want to get banned on TikTok, but it's a really good movie. It's super dark. I love it to death. It's
also
also
a hard
like,
one to watch. Yeah.
but it's very affecting and effective. But like something like that, where I love stuff where reality is blurred. Like, it's just a sweet spot for me. Like, I like when the audience and the main characters, like, their reality is breaking around them, and they don't know what's real and what isn't. And I think you could I could see that framework working with this kind of idea. Does it still work all the way? Probably not, but
if you
it's better than
spoke to
this.
somebody on Facebook or on a forum for horror movies and they were like, I loved this movie,
Oh, you're gonna find them, dude.
What would you say to them?
And this is probably, I do my best every episode to try to alienate any people that happen to come across us. There are horror fans that just love everything. Like, they just if it's horror, they love it. And then the more people dislike something, they double down, and they're like, well, I love Winnie the Pooh. It's my favorite movie. This is like we're the real horror fans, like you
Yeah.
know, you guys are posers. Like it sounds ridiculous, but I see it all the time.
Born contrarians. They're just
Yeah. It contrarian by loving everything. It's very odd. It's an odd way to be. But what was your question? I'm sorry, I kind of steamrolled.
What would you say to somebody that was like, this is like the best movie of 2023 so far?
Who hurt you? Um, I would look them square in the eye and ask, is this the first film you've ever seen? It's the only film you've ever seen? Because I just can't imagine.
All right, you're on a, let's put it this way, you're on a first date.
Oh
The most
God,
beautiful
dude,
woman you've ever seen in your life.
Oh, I'd just be like, mine too. Oh, I've lied about way worse than liking a movie. Are you kidding? That's a bad prop for me.
Yeah. Okay.
Let's be honest. Again, I'm very opinionated, obviously, but like genuinely honest answer. If somebody said they love this movie, I'd be like, cool, man.
Would you think less of them?
Absolutely. Just
it would change the dynamics of a friendship. I feel like this is how polarizing this movie is.
Yeah, it's objectionably terrible. Like maybe it depends on what they said afterwards, right? Like if they like identified with the characters in the plot or something, then I'd be like, but if they were like, it's hilarious because it's awful, I can relate to you on that. But I would just think you're some kind of alien if you like this movie. Like I don't know.
I know.
We didn't get to it, but the ending of this movie is fucking bonkers because it doesn't really have an ending.
Yeah,
like there's
that's what makes me think they're setting it up for a sequel.
Oh, I can't wait. Oh yeah, bring it on.
But it ended so abruptly. So like just to give you a sense of what
evil Peter Pan, or I get Peter Pan. He'll show up, Captain Hook, and oh god,
any character who's now in the public domain. Show up in the sequels.
1000%. It's going to be like a League of Extraordinary Gentlemen, but for like kids' stories, and it's a horror. So that's why Alan Moore made that comic, by the way, because all those characters were
really
public domain, every single one of them. So
very smart move. Worked out.
Yeah, not the movie did. The movie did not work out, but the comic's very good. The movie is horrible, but anyway. Yeah, the ending. Let's talk about that briefly. So, I don't know how much time we have left, but
we haven't hit the 10-minute mark yet. I feel like we're gonna come in, ending this very soon because there's really not too many positive things to say about this movie. But the ending, especially, I hate when movies end abruptly. No explanations, no wrapping up. Just give me something that I can hang on to. This is just so. These characters, there's two characters that kind of make it to the end, and Christopher Robin comes out of nowhere. First of all, at this point, my son had left and I was watching it with my daughter, and we were both looking at each other like, where the hell did Christopher Robin come from? He was tied up in this torture dungeon, and he just shows up like with the great American hero.
Also, hilariously, like logistically, this doesn't make any sense. So Winnie the Pooh has this girl pinned up against a truck, like right up in the edge, like right at the front of the truck, like near like the driver's side front tire. And he's about to stab her. And Christopher Robin's, his way of saving her is to ram his truck into this truck. There's not that much space. Like you would inadvertently kill both of them.
Oh yeah.
You're not.
I think he had he probably didn't even realize she was there or even care.
Yeah. Also, but also, in between him. So before this, he gets Winnie the Pooh gets accosted by like 7 hillbillies, and you find out that like Winnie the Pooh is like nigh invulnerable for some reason. Like he's hit with like crowbars and like all kinds of crap. Also, oh man, I can't believe I forgot this. So throughout the whole movie, Winnie the Pooh is killing people with like hammers and cars and all this shit. But at the end of the movie, they just lost all creative ideas, and Winnie the Pooh just like kills people by like karate chopping them, which is hilarious. Like I don't know, it's like what the fuck is this? Because he's just like he literally is like karate, and then like people's heads just split in half, and But anyway, so he's basically invincible. He's about to kill this girl. Also, that the use of CGI comes big here right before he stabs her. Fake lightning hits, and you see his face go into this smile. It's the only time his face really moves, but it's clearly CGI, and that's what I was talking about earlier. It looks really bad. So then Christopher Robin comes and rams him with his truck, and of course he's fine. And then he grabs the girl. Christopher Robin again begs and pleads not to kill him. At one point, Christopher Robin says, there's still good in you. Like you can, like he's trying to explain to the audience the scene. He's like, there's still good in you. You can feel it. You can. It's like, bro, he is like wantonly murdered.
He's proven at least 7 times in the last hour and a half that there is no good in this man.
Also,
man.
like
I keep thinking he's a man. It's a man.
Yeah. He keeps killing these people in like the most grotesque ways possible. Like it's not like it like
TJ, we forgot to talk about the fact when he had Christopher Robin in his torture dungeon and whipped him in the back with Eeyore's tail.
Eeyore's tail, which also for a prop looked really bad. Like it just looked like hair. It looked like
I thought
it
was one of the victim's hair braids.
But they did like an Eeyore sound when he was whipping him, so that's what I assumed it was too, Eeyore's tail. But anyway, so then he pleads for Pooh not to kill her. Pooh says his only line of dialogue in this whole movie, which is "You left," and then slices her neck. And then Christopher Robin cries and Pooh walks towards him, and then credits.
Yeah. And not only is Pooh a serial killer, he's also a liar because he made a vow to never talk again.
That's true.
And he said, left. All right.
Yeah.
So what's worse? Killer or liar? God. I don't know.
I forgot
that's for you to decide.
Another scene that I started howling at the screen. There's a point where I don't even know if this woman was like a different woman that Pooh kidnapped or one of the initial women. I honestly lost track because they're all the same. And she's all battered and fucked up when they find her, and they try to rescue her, and she's like completely fucked up, like her eyes are beaten shut, and she looks terrible. But I don't know why they put this in the movie. She walks over to a mirror. And she like freaks out. She's like, "What did they do to me, lady? You don't even have eyes right now. What the fuck? How did you not understand how fucked up you were? What? Like that scene doesn't work. When your eyes, you look like a fucking mosquito. Like I don't understand. Like what are you doing? Oh my god, they what have they done to me? What the fuck are you talking about? Oh my god, I was laughing my ass. I was like, did the effects people not read the script? Like I don't understand. Oh god.
Her non-existent modeling career was over.
And again, like I don't know if she was like in Pooh's dungeon or they grabbed her. Also, when they first invade the house, they write in blood, I guess, on the windows of the house, "Get out."
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense because they murder them. Like if they wanted them to leave, they could have just left the whole time. Like also like are they protect, like again, that is a more confused shit that I never really thought about until just now. So are they trying to paint them as protectors of 100 Acre Wood? Like what? Anyway.
Nobody really gave a shit is what I'm gathering.
That's a good way to put it, man. Nobody gave a shit about anything.
I can imagine everybody was like stoned and laughing their ass off. This is probably one of the best productions to be on because they were probably having such a blast.
They probably shot this without a script too. They probably just did it.
This was all improv.
Or close
improv
to it.
Horror.
It's either improv or they wrote that script the morning of. They probably fucking... They wrote that little intro with the cartoon, and then that was it. And then we're just like, and then girls are... Because, like, think about it. The girls have no personality. They try to give the one girl, who turns out to be, like, the final girl, that weird backstory where she was getting stalked. But, like, what does that have to do with anything? And, like, I don't know. Anything else, Chris?
I'm not... mad.
Would you
I'm not mad, I'm disappointed.
Yeah.
That's how I would say to the director. I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed. That's I've seen worse. TJ, on a scale of 1 to 10, where would you put this?
Oh,
as
it's
a
like
horror, not a comedy, as a horror.
Oh, it's like a 2.
Yeah.
It may be low, maybe lower. I don't know. You got to understand. With bad movies, I swim in deep waters.
Yeah. As a bad movie, do you see this being rewatchable?
No, not for me. Maybe for other people. I can kind of see this as a viral, so bad it's good kind of movie, and it kind of pisses me off because I feel like as soon as this was announced, that's what they want, right?
Yeah.
So in that sense, I guess it's a success. But I'll never watch it again. It's because it's not goofy enough to be like rewatchable. Like it's not like a Birdemic or something, you know what I mean? Like, or a Sharknado.
That's the movie I was trying to think of. That's how we would compare some of these CGI effects to Birdemic.
Well, it's funny too because they're just like gore effects and they shouldn't be this bad. And it looks terrible. Also, the FX guy is obsessed with eyeballs popping out. Like, cause like it happens like 4 times in the movie. I don't know, dude.
They got some old head from over at Trauma. And brought him out of retirement. Like,
honestly, that's who I'd want to see make this movie. I want to see like the Trauma.
I would love that. That would have been so much better if Trauma
that's what this movie needs. It needs to take the sheen of being like a scary modern horror movie away and just make it goofy as fuck. Like make it just super silly.
Yeah.
But no.
That's why it didn't have any charisma. It didn't have any like.
Again, this is a movie with zero effort. It's barely a movie. Like it's got the elements of a movie, but like nothing of the guts of it. It's soulless.
Can I give you the stats real quick?
Sure. We only got a minute 51 left.
We'll go quick. All right. The budget was $100,000 and it brought in at the box office 4.1 million.
I mean, that's a certified hit.
Yeah. I mean, not bad. They did what they probably intended to do.
This thing, not to say that we watch this by nefarious means, but this hasn't even gotten to like VOD yet, so it's going to make more money.
Yeah.
Like, again, absolutely. Just out of sheer curiosity, it's going to make more money. So I mean, good on you guys. You got a good ROI on there. So
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah.
I had more fun watching this than Knock at the Cabin, if that helps, if that means anything.
Yeah, I don't have any more unless you have something.
No, I don't really like movies anymore. I think
I finished my beer. I'm going to bed. Like I can't.
Yeah.
My head.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. If you're watching us on one of the ways you can watch us. But yeah, we'll see you next week, and hopefully we'll watch a better movie. Good night, Chris.
Not likely. Bye. Good night, DJ.
Hey, we didn't get cut off.